What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1067 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here today with my guest co-host, filling in. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Olivia. I am here. Happy Monday. Mary still got some stuff going on that she's dealing with, so I am here filling in once again. Happy to be here.
As always.
Yeah, it's good to be here. How was your weekend, Brett?
My weekend was fantastic, okay? I got to go see Masters of the Universe, which we are going to talk about today. We're going to do both a box office review. Well, box office review. It was a box office spanking. That's what happened with it. But we're going to talk about it. But we're also going to do a spoiler-free review, an attempted spoiler-free review towards the end of the episode. Got to do that. My weekend was good. How was yours, other than the hand injury?
Yeah, so if you guys see my hand today.
She did not get that from hitting me.
I did not, and he did not hit me. But what happened was... I know my husband loves to go on his walks, and that's great. I love that.
And I don't make you run with me. I only make you walk with me. I will walk,
but I like to go walking too. My schedule doesn't always allow it. I'm usually pretty much on a time crunch during the week, so on the weekends I love to go with them. Well, yesterday I did that, and for those that don't know, we live in an area that is very much like hills. Like, it's all hills up and down. All the roads are up and down because we're right by the mountains. And there is this one area where the patch of concrete is a bit broken. And not in the road, but and it's a one-way, so really I should just be in the street. But we were so close to getting back home. Okay, we were like the block by our house. Like, we could have gone either way, and I'm like, we'll go the long way today.
You got risky, and then
joke's on me.
Yeah.
And I paid the price with the concrete. It was dark out, by the way. So it was like 9 p.m. Yeah. And I tripped on the concrete.
I thought your knee was what took it.
Absolutely ate it. My hand was gushing blood. Like, it was like dripping blood. It was so bad.
I was like, do you want me to carry you?
And I was like, no, I just want to get home. Like, stop. Like, because I was just like trying to not get blood
I was like, this
everywhere.
is my moment. Like,
I was trying not to get blood everywhere. And my knee has a giant bruise on it. And I'm also scraped up. You guys, I don't know if you can see it on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see it there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Got scraped up there. My knees are in pain. My shoulder right here is bruised. I'm in a lot of pain today, but I'm okay. So other than that, though, great weekend. Spent some time with our friends. Got some ice cream with our friends. That was fun. Did a cookout. And then went to the movies. Did a review here yesterday.
We haven't gotten to tell it. So if you are not yet a channel member for PCC on YouTube, so what we've taken to doing is we did a full length, it was about an hour long, a live stream doing a spoiler discussion and breakdown of the movie Masters of the Universe. I did a little bit with the box office as well.
With spoilers.
But for the most part, it was getting deep into the nitty gritty with spoilers, because that's, to me, always been the easiest way to review movies. Now, we're going to try and do a spoiler-free review today, a shorter one, just because, I've been talking so much about Masters of the Universe, it would seem ridiculous to not at least, go and see it. And, if you want to know my, our more like intense thoughts on it, you should become a channel member for PCC on YouTube, and you can go and watch that. It is now up there for members only. But we did it live for everybody yesterday at about 1 p.m. And then after we were done, I made it for members only, and it was a lot of fun. So you guys should go and become channel members. Also, you should hit the like button on this episode, and you should subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet already. Please and thank you. Share the episodes out with everybody that you like and dislike. The more people that you share the content with, the faster the channel can grow. Channels like ours benefit from like engagement, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, all of that stuff. Algorithmically, we have been just in a black hole since I was out for those 2 weeks for because I had severe bronchitis. But the channel has been struggling, so the best thing we can ask for you to do is to share the content out and go and leave comments on the videos. We appreciate it very much.
Go leave meatloaf emojis in chat if you're a channel member as well.
Yes,
go leave buckets, Chloe's, mochas, toasts, all of them. Also, someone said to me on the phone today, literally 10 minutes ago, so I'm basically toast, and he didn't catch it, but I went, toast. I went, toast, because that's what I say to her. I go, toast, and that's when she knows I'm calling for her.
Correct.
And I went, toast on the phone. I was like, oh, it was like reactionary. It was immediate. Anyway, we've got a lot to get into. What do we have today?
We are going to talk about the Masters of the Universe box office. It is a flop. I hate to say I told you so, especially for a movie that I actually have quite a few positive things to say about it, but it is a box office flop. We are going to talk about that. that, along with some of the other stories at the box office this weekend. We are going to talk about the Obsession art director. Now, I made a separate video on this, but I thought we'd do it live as well. I have never before seen somebody get a gift that could so quickly work in their favor and have them absolutely use it against themselves with the way that this lady is behaving. Her name is Sally Choi, and like I said, she was the art director on Obsession. She is speaking out about the fact that the below-the-line workers in the movie are not making a bunch of extra money, despite the fact that they didn't take any of the financial risk in this movie. So we'll talk about it. We're also going to talk about actor Hudson Williams. If you don't know who that is, I don't blame you. You probably don't watch a show about gay hockey players. That is because he is one half of the stars of the show Heated Rivalry, and he is in the news because he did dumb stuff in high school, thus proving in a lot of ways that no matter how woke you are, no matter how woke your television show is, no matter how woke your fan base is, and you guys know I don't like that word. Find it to be poor at describing anything. People have different gradients for what it means. But if you're going to be all these things, if you're going to be the most politically correct person in the world, your resume and your past better be bulletproof. But as history has shown us, kids usually aren't when they're younger. They make mistakes. They do stupid things. It is coming back to bite him as this photo is resurfaced, as they often do, of him when he was in high school at some party where him and his friends drew on each other, and he had a swastika drawn on himself, and he had the word AIDS drawn on himself. And it's coming back to bite him because his show is like the definition of a stan following. So we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about a bunch of other stuff, including a Masters of the Universe spoiler-free review, and the abortion influencer saga continues.
It does.
It's bad. Right?
Yes. It's continuing to get worse.
All right. Well, then, if you're ready to go, we can just go. Are you ready?
Born ready.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. Let's talk about the box office for this past weekend. Now, the biggest story here is twofold. On one hand, Scary Movie overperformed. It did better despite the fact that it had poor word of mouth, given the fact that the audience score was lower than Masters of the Universe, and the critics score was abysmal. Not that the critics score matters anymore, but it did not do well at the box office, or I'm sorry, it did not do well with the critics, but it did do very well amongst the audiences, even though the scores for it aren't really that high. It's sitting at like a 69% last time I checked on the, on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was the top at the box office, and second was Masters of the Universe. Third was Backrooms, which took a huge drop this weekend. Obsession did something absolutely unbelievable. After 3 weeks of consecutive growth, one after the other, got bigger in the second week, and then the third week was bigger than the second week was. It took only a 7% drop off at the box office. And in fifth place, The Amazing Digital Circus, which is a movie I say in air quotes, based on a YouTube television series where it's just episode 7 and 8 of that series. It was a Fathom event, yet it managed to crack the top 5, and they have extended the run of that show, of that show's movie up through the 18th, which is fantastic. But the real question here is Masters of the Universe. It cost $170 to $200 million, as I'm sure you guys remember me saying and are ad nauseum sick of me talking about it. It brought in just $54 million worldwide, just $29 million domestic, $25 million overseas. Though interesting thing is it was only in 3.6 thousand theaters, which is about 1,000 theaters less, or a little bit under 1,000 theaters less than a lot of major releases would get. And the other thing that's weird about it is that the media and Amazon are trying to frame this as good. They're like, no, it's not a big deal. We're going to sell a bunch of toys. It's brand recognition. You don't spend $200 million on something. That's not even including the massive marketing budget. If this was the case, they could have just spent the $200 million on the movie and then just dropped that shit on Prime. But they didn't do that, which means that they had to spend a boatload of money to market this movie as well. You don't do that for a $54 million opening weekend. You just don't. And yet Scary Movie has the biggest release of the franchise. And it got me to thinking, like, that in the age before, when we had both DVD sales and pay VOD, it didn't matter if a comedy had its biggest weekend ever, because it was going to make a bunch of money on pay VOD, or what we would have called pay-per-view back in the olden days. And it would have made a bunch of money with DVD sales. And now that can't even be the case anymore. Everything has to be some form of IP. And despite the fact that it's just a comedy, a satire, it has to count on a huge opening box office weekend. And it's already in the realm of profitability. But this is what Variety had to say about Masters of the Universe. It said, "Scary movie easily secured the #1 spot over this weekend's other major release, which was Amazon MGM's Sword and Planet Adventure, Masters of the Universe, which debuted at #2 with a soft $29.3 million in North America, just $25 million from 86 markets overseas, for a global total of $54 million. It's an underwhelming start for a movie that cost nearly $200 million to produce, not including the marketing budget. Again, you could have minimized that marketing budget if it went straight to theater or if it went straight to streaming. You don't have to market it in the same way. It's not the same approach. It will require substantial staying power to justify its price tag, considering that theater owners keep roughly 50% of the ticket sales." I think this movie's going off a cliff next weekend. I do. I don't think this movie's going to have strong. And I could be wrong. I rarely make bold predictions, but my issue with it is that as much as I like this movie, its message is confusing. And we'll get into that later when we get into our reviews. But in lieu of like a strong message that leads to great word of mouth from audiences, I don't see this movie having the staying power that they wanted to. It's not going to get like a 30% drop. I think this thing's going in the high 50s, if not higher for it, which means that it's not good. It says, we'll get into it more because they have to, Amazon has their own stuff that they have to say about this, which just feels like mega cope. It says, "There's a soft opening. This is a soft opening for an action adventure with franchise and series potential," Gross says, adding that right now the only fantasy heroes doing strong business are the biggest and most established heroes like Spider-Man, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Superman. And even Superman's up in the air, given that last year when Superman came out, even before you adjust for inflation, it could not beat Man of Steel at the box office back in 2013. So even Superman's stock isn't what it used to be. Masters of the Universe is based on the Mattel toy line. You can tell that from the movie. They get into the fact that the inaugural weekend crowd was 66% male and nearly 40% were above the age of 45.
Okay, I have a question.
Go for it.
Sorry, this is just related to this specific thing. How do you know how many are male and how many are above a certain age?
I don't know how they do the...
Like maybe male, but you bought both our tickets, so would I also count in that because you bought 2 tickets under your name?
I don't know how they do the polling or the...
Okay, because I was like,
what the sampling is for that.
Like you bought the tickets, so technically it'd be a 2 under Brett.
Well, I don't know. They think I'm just like 2 dudes are going. They're like, hey, the bros are going for the He-Man.
You could be. They don't know how old you are.
That is true. But that's a good question. I don't know what the sampling is like or how they do it with that. Now, here's where we get into the cope part of it from Amazon, at least in my opinion. In a statement, Amazon MGM's domestic distribution chief, Kevin Wilson, repeats a similar sentiment about using a different barometer for success than rivals. Director Travis Knight and the entire cast and filmmaking team have delivered something truly special, and this opening is exactly the kind of critical first moment that validates our holistic distribution strategy.
What?
Bro, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just bad at my job, but I don't know what the fuck a holistic distribution strategy is.
Maybe I'm not woke enough, but what does that mean?
Can you look it up? Can you look up what holistic distribution strategy is?
Yeah, I got you.
Building awareness and engagement that will carry well beyond the theatrical window. Maybe Pop Culture Junkie is in the chat and can let us know what a quote-unquote holistic distribution strategy is.
I'm looking right now.
He goes, so it's basically they're saying...
Okay, I found it.
Okay, go for it.
Do you want to know? This is just the Copilot AI overview, but because there's no actual...
Okay.
A holistic distribution strategy is an integrated end-to-end approach to managing how products or services move from producers to end customers, considering all stages of the supply chain as an interconnected part of a single system. It goes beyond siloed logistics and distribution planning by aligning production, sourcing, manufacturing, warehousing, transportation, retail, and even end-of-life management into a unified framework. So what does that mean? I don't know, because that was a word salad of words.
So he's talking about how it's the first step in their stragy to then put it to streaming.
A longer game on this.
Yes, I guess. I don't know how happy Mattel will be with the toy sales on this, but it looks like with those numbers, if it was, what is it, 66% were over male, and that people were over the age of 45. The original audience came out. Maybe the problem is that because of the mixed messaging, those older audiences came out, but they didn't bring their kids.
Yeah, and we'll get into this when we talk about the
Yeah.
movie. I don't know how this movie is only as kid friendly as a parent would.
Yeah,
like,
it depends
on
on
the parenting style and the parent, because there is cussing and there's like adult humor and stuff. And so I imagine that there might be some that are like, I don't want my kids around that, or like the mother might be like, you should go on your own because I don't want the kids around cussing, or whatever it might be.
And there's more than that. There's
other stuff.
There's
There's
sexual
like sexual
innuendo
innuendo.
and
And depending on what you want your kid saying.
yeah.
But I mean, I guess I see what they're saying, but again, I think it's a massive cope. I think that they're just trying to be like, they're trying to have some kind of optimism, which I guess is good, that they're not like putting morale down entirely.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we went and saw it. Our theater was what, a third of the
full?
That's generous, but about a third of the
For
full.
a late showing. Granted, it was a Saturday though. It's not like we went on a Sunday.
But Saturday nights tend to be like, oh, let's go to the movie with the family. Like, if not Friday night, that's Saturday night. And maybe not at 8:30, which is when we went. Maybe the 6 o'clock or the 7 o'clock was a bit more full, but it didn't seem like that.
So here's the way in which I was talking about, where I said that they're coping and that the media is playing some type of middleman trying to obfuscate the truth of the matter, which is that a $200 million movie does not is not a success if it makes 54 million worldwide in its opening weekend. Remember, they split 50% of that with the U.S. Theaters. They split even more of that with the theaters when it's an overseas release.
Yeah.
This is from Page Six. It said, and I've got the funny thing is, I've got multiple issues with Page Six headlines here today, or Page Six articles. Masters of the Universe has otherworldly opening, lands in the #1 spot. Well, I know that that's a lie of omission, because Scary Movie is what came out. What they're talking about is, if you put together the Friday numbers with the Thursday previews, it would have been #1 just on that day. But that does not mean that it was the #1 movie in the world, but it allows them to use that type of language when they start advertising it, which is how they try to trick you into thinking that it's more successful than it is, because they want you to believe that this is something that you're going to have FOMO for, like, oh, everybody's going to see it. But we know now, as we talked about over the weekend, when we were leaving and arriving, people were coming out of Obsession, they were coming out of Backrooms.
Oh, I saw that.
There was old people, there was young people. It was very, very busy in those theaters. That is a natural word of mouth that you can't buy or fake.
So I went to the bathroom. I had an electrolyte drink like right before, because I was like, oh, I'm definitely dehydrated, which was my own fault, because I shouldn't have done that.
PCC has become TMI.
I'm so sorry.
Just continue.
The idea, like, I don't like going to the bathroom during movies. That's
No,
why
no,
I'm like
nobody
saying
does.
it is
Yeah.
because it's like, I wouldn't have had to if I didn't have that stupid drink. But I was dehydrated from the entire day. So I had to go to the bathroom, and I left at the same time that Backrooms right next door to us was getting out. And I literally saw an old man with a walker and his wife and their son, because he said something about like dad, blah, blah, blah. And then there were some high school girls coming out of it. I saw a couple, like, they were probably high school girls. If I do assume based on how they were dressed and the way they talked, just what I overheard, they were high school girls.
Okay.
Probably like
They were talking shit about other girls.
well, I don't know. They were just like, they were definitely like way more Gen Z than I am. But then again, they could have been like, I'm getting so much older that like I feel like I say that, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're like 3 years younger than me. Brother, they're 10 years younger than me.
We have to start de-aging you any day now.
I mean, I look like I'm 20, but yeah, I saw all sorts of ages, and our theater, it seemed to be about people your age demographic. Yeah. Not mine, yours.
Mine, yeah.
A couple people were mine, but they were with people that were about, like, there was a girl with her dad that was like down the row from us.
Yes,
that was
I
probably
saw that. Everybody else,
but
was
everyone
my
else
age,
looked about 40, between like 40 and 50, probably. Yeah.
I'd like to think that I look younger than 40.
You do, but I'm not saying how you look. I'm saying how they look.
So Backrooms landed in third place, though its ticket sales declined 70% in its second weekend. Nowhere near the staying power that Obsession has. Again, we'll be getting back into that. Backrooms did $25.9 million with $135 million in North America. Backrooms is now A24's highest grossing movie worldwide. I believe it passed Marty Supreme just in its second weekend, which is a huge deal. And then Obsession came in fourth with $25.6 million at the box office. Just 7% decline. That's going to be important when we get to the next topic. The other big things to note here over the weekend, other than the fact that Masters of the Universe did not make the money that it needed to make, despite the fact that people are saying that it did, Mandalorian, at least as of Sunday, has yet to hit $300 million at the box office.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's
and
rough.
Mario finally hit $1 billion, becoming the first movie of the year to become a billion-dollar film. But if I was to guess why it is that He-Man flopped in the way that it did, and don't let them tell you otherwise, this is a flop based on the money that they spent to make this movie and what you would hope to make the box office. They may make the money back later. It's probably going to do very well on Prime when it comes out as like Amazon slop. But they wanted more from this. You don't release a movie in theaters and then incur the costs of marketing a movie like this. And I've seen marketing for this on social media platforms all over the place. It's a flop. If I had to guess why, I would say that the movie has a very, very hard time deciding what it wanted to say about things like masculinity. Despite the fact that I had a lot of fun with the movie, I think that it did so in spite of itself because I feel like it had something it wanted to say. It just didn't know how to frame it without being, and it was unable to get out of its own way and take itself seriously outside of one very specific moment that we will get into later. But it was capable. It had the structure of something much, much more, but didn't live up to it. That would be my guess.
Right.
All right.
Agreed.
All right, let us move on then. Let's find out how we can talk about Sally Choi and the mistakes that she is making. All right. So if you don't know who Sally Choi is, I don't blame you. You probably haven't heard of her because she is an art director in Hollywood, but she's only done a couple of projects. In this case, Obsession, which is an absolute cultural phenomenon right now. This was just her second project. It was a non-union role. Obsession, it grew from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. It made more money each and every week. Week 2 was bigger than week 1. Week 3 was bigger than week 2. And then in week 4, it only declined 7% at the box office. It is being spoken of by absolutely everybody in the culture right now. It's one of those things where I talk about it breaks containment. Your dad has heard about it. Your uncle has heard of it. That uncle you have that only posts weird Trump memes, he's heard of Obsession. You might even go see it at the box office. Well, this lady, Sally Choi, who was the art director, she got on Instagram and she talked about how she made about $300 a day, about $6,741 after taxes for a month's worth of work. And I have never in my life seen someone in such quick succession seemingly end her entire career as she decided to take what was a gift in this movie and speak out of turn by calling for change in Hollywood. I'm going to read her post in its entirety. She does point out that the movie was shot for $750,000. It was then sold later to Focus Features for $15 million. That is important to note. Let's read what she had to say. She says, I've debated this for a long time. I've been holding a lot of weight over the past 2 years since the production of Obsession, so I'm going to say it as it is. Obsession was made for $750K, and it's projected to make $250 million. I think it's actually going to end up more than that. This movie is supposed to end at 300 to 400 times what it costs to make.
Insane.
She says, how much I made? $300 a day as art director. This came out to $6,741 after taxes. After the taxes for a month's worth of work. I did know the rate beforehand and I agreed to it. But at that point, I was living paycheck to paycheck. This is the reality of most filmmakers, especially those who work below the line. We become a line in the budget sheet to keep as low as possible. Well, yes, of course, you are at the intersection of commerce and art. It is the job of the producers to get these things to make money. They might care about art. They might signal that they have an interest in art, but it is not something that they are necessarily putting first and foremost. They're going to care most importantly about the bottom line.
Can I ask, and this is a stupid question, but you'll understand more than I would. So she gets paid what she got paid. She doesn't make any more from what the movie makes.
She didn't take any financial risk. She doesn't get back end points. Correct.
So that goes to like the actors and the distributors and the.
In this one, probably no actors got the actors. Probably didn't get
so
it
where
either.
does this money go that it's all made? That's all of it's making. The distributor.
It's going to Focus Features, who bought the film and took the risk on it, and then the distributor. Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah. That's what I was just.
It's not even going to Curry Barker, who made the movie.
But this gives her.
It.
Like, she's all upset that she's not getting more money, whatever. First of all, $6,000 in a month, I'm sure in California is not a lot.
Yeah, that's the point they're making.
But that would be great.
Non-union job.
Non-union job. But I will say that this sets her up. If she had just shut up and not said anything, that would have set her up for making so much more money down the line because she is the creative director of this insane
One of the biggest movie of the summer.
Yes, and then she would have made so much more money if she just shut her freaking mouth. I mean, she probably will still get work, but like, if you just shut up, put your head down, and do your job.
That's actually a point of contention. So there's two schools of thought on that. Yes, a lot of people are going to be very unhappy with her. There's a lot of producers who aren't going to want to take a chance with her. But I think that there is a growing activist class. Say now the people who are going to hire Melissa Barrera just because she speaks about Palestine. Despite the fact that she lost work because of it, there is now a growing activist class that might hire her. But if she had not spoken out about this, first of all, you're not going to get those percentage points. Second of all, you set yourself up for a huge job in the future. This is where she goes on. There were also crew and Obsession who were volunteers, getting paid in gas and mileage. This wasn't even paid on time. So to make a $250 million grossing movie, some of these amazing people had to come out of pocket to work on set. I kick myself every day for not flipping this production. I was encouraged not to, and I naively listened. She's literally making an argument against herself that she made poor decisions.
She is literally like, these are the consequences of my own actions, and I'm going to complain about it.
As is for the case for most low-budget productions, everyone has to wear many hats. Though my official title is art director, I was also a PA, set dresser, graphic designer, background actor, driver, swing, and buyer. I was doing runs for the art department. Again, no mileage. I was shopping, loading, returning while the rest of the crew was on set. Thank you, Jeff Barker, for helping me through those times. I had to wrap Bear's house that was left in an absolute mess without water or crafties left behind. I shopped an entire location, Ian's house, and loaded the truck the same day for the shoot the next day, which also happened to be an overnight. It took such a physical toll on my body that I kept losing weight, weighing 90 pounds during this production. I say all this to finally have my piece. I know this is bigger than Obsession or Curry and his team. It's not about that. I know this is even bigger than the film industry. If you feel called to have this discussion with me, please do so. I'm willing to be wrong because I'm probably missing information and my perspective is just a drop in the bucket. If you were a crew member on Obsession and feel called to share your rate, maybe we can turn a tide in the film industry.
This is so insufferable.
So
Look, my initial response to this is that most jobs in an industry that is somehow media related, whether that be on a movie or even where we work now, a lot of people do a lot of jobs and don't complain about it. A lot of people pick up responsibility and help out where they're needed, and they're kind of have their hand. I'm the perfect example here. This isn't my job. What I'm doing literally sitting here right now is not my job. And that's okay. I don't mind coming in, helping out, and doing this. I actually really enjoy this. And I don't sit there and go, oh, man.
It's like I do IRL.
It's like, let's say Tim gets an influx in members because of something we say on here, but we don't get some raise because we brought an influx in members. I'm not going to sit here and be like, he got this much more money and we're not. Because that goes to operations. That goes to everything else. It's just very frustrating when people start to complain about that stuff.
Ours is not the same because we're it's a salary job. It's not a one-to-one. It's not a fair one-to-one comparison.
But I'm just saying that like we don't get any like bonus or like nothing. Even if we were responsible for bringing in, because that's your job. That's what you do at a job, and it's not fair for this woman to be like, oh, it's the consequences of my actions. I signed this contract and now I'm going to complain about it. And also weighing 90 pounds, I'm just going to X it out unless she's like really petite like I am. That's just like everyone would have been like, what's wrong with you? But I just feel like she wanted to complain to somebody and everyone in her life probably was telling her that she signed the contract. And so she's like, I want someone to empathize with me. And so you take it to the internet where you hope to get a better reaction from people.
She's also talking about she only worked during the production of this movie. So the writers, the directors, and the producers are with these projects for far, far longer from the moment the production starts to the time they try to get that movie sold, hopefully with the outcome of it making them a profit. Most of the time when it comes to the indies, that is not the outcome for these types of productions. They don't make a profit, and that's the way it was. She could have gotten theoretically a deal for more points on the back end, but most of them aren't willing to risk it because they know that if the movie doesn't make money, which most of them don't, they're taking less per day to make that money. So it's not going to happen. I'm going to read a couple of the responses because there's people in the industry that have stuff to say as well. Mark Collins says, if you're not in the film industry, you have zero idea how the film industry works. You simply cannot apply conventional wisdom to it. Anybody who tries fails. Obsession is what we would call a low budget film, short shooting schedule, small crew, small production. Every single person working on the film understands that. They understand that they won't be making big studio feature money on this production because the money doesn't exist. Art director is a glorified graphic designer for this film. There's not really much work to do. You're making posters and signs, $300 a day on this budget, and this job is totally fine. Again, she does point out that obviously her job incurred a lot more than that, but that's his critique. If you're working below the line, you understand that you don't have equity in the production. There are many reasons for this, all of them good. In the current era, he goes on, but I'm going to read a couple more of them here because there was a couple of really good ones from people in the industry. I want to find those. I did Mike Harlow's and the other one. This one's from Matt Jarbo. Say what you will. But he's got a good point here about specificity about what she's actually asking for. He says, what exactly does Sally Choi want here? The Obsession art director, set decorator, says she made $300 a day and less than $7,000 total on the film, which is now heading towards a massive box office run. While I get why that stings, but Obsession was $750,000 indie movie. Nobody knew this thing was going to blow up. Nobody was working on a guaranteed studio hit. This is how indie films work. People wear many hats, people take lower rates, people gamble on the credit, the experience, and the relationships, and they hope that the movie becomes something bigger. Yes, they bet on the connections they make in that movie. Not in the Nepo sense, but in the sense that making it in Hollywood is not just what you know, it's who you know. You need to have contacts and infrastructure within the industry so that you can get hired onto the next project. She was set up with that. The success of this movie gave her a resume standout that would have put her in line to get tons of new projects, but she couldn't keep herself from talking about it. People wear multiple hats, people take lower rates, people gamble on the credit, the experience, and the relationships, hoping it gets to be something bigger. This one did. And yes, it sucks when a movie explodes and the below the line crew does not share in the upside, but who is supposed to cut the check now? Curry Barker, Focus Features, the producers, the distributor that bought the movie after it was already made. If you're asking if the ask is back end for indie crews for acquisition, say that. If it's bonus pools, say that. If it's better minimums, say that. But vague, we need to turn the industry around stuff without a clear ask can backfire fast. She did good work. She should use Obsession to get better paying gigs immediately because this is usually how the industry works. But everyone on the movie was gambling, not just her. This one from Amanda Milius says, when I was working in fashion casting, every model knew that Condé Nast rate was $150 a day, and they were lining up down the hall because it meant that they could potentially get a $25,000 a day campaign, and it was good for their book. In film industry, there is no universe where a second-time art director isn't doing it for their reel off the bat and the money second, meaning she's trying to build her resume for the fact to do that. And in no universe where the investor, top of the line credit, distributor, are sharing profits with somebody who put zero into the film in some way and had no risk exposure unless contracted prior. Yes, they don't understand the concept of risk.
Right. And a big problem that I have, I forgot I had gauze in my pocket. Okay. I was like sitting on it, but so again, in her statement, in her post, she literally says, I did know the rate beforehand and agreed to it. And then she tries to say, but I was living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, like this would I cat sat prior, like when we were just, I was cat sitting a lot, paycheck to paycheck kind of thing. And that's fine. And that's the reality of what my living condition was. But try to use that as an example of like, well, I didn't know it was going to blow up, and so I should have gotten more. Then you should have put that in your contract if you thought this project had potential. It says a lot about what you thought about the project. Probably didn't think it was going to do that well.
I don't think she thought about it at all. I think,
right, I'm just saying, like, if you would have thought that maybe this could happen, you do something about that. But look, I get it. It sucks, but now you are going to be known as somebody who is going to basically spit in the face of the directors.
Yeah, who's going to want to hire you after the fact?
Yeah, no one's going to want to work with you if you're going to just spit in the face of somebody and turn around and be like, man, this was so successful and my name is on it. How dare you? It's like, really? That's what you're going to say? No one wants to be that person.
Yep. Corey Anderson with a $20 super chat says, if this
Thanks,
film
Corey.
made $0, she wouldn't be saying a damn thing. It is people like this why I pray for Hollywood to collapse. She didn't put any money up front. She didn't take a risk. I hope she gets blackballed. What a crybaby.
I mean, that's what we're saying, right?
That's
like
what
she
likely will happen.
That was a great timing But yeah, so it's like you're complaining it was so successful because you couldn't thrive off that success. If you had just shut up, if you had just put your head down and been like no one needed to know how much money you made. This was all you, girlfriend. This was all you going out and having to say stuff. All you had to say, oh, I've debated this for a long time. I've been holding a lot of weight over the past 2 years since production. No, you haven't, because you didn't know it was going to be that successful.
Yep.
So no, you haven't. You've been holding this weight for what, 3 weeks since it came out?
Yeah, that's a more
like
likely
you're
time
acting
frame.
like, oh, for the last 2 years I've been thinking about this. You probably didn't realize, like, it was probably tabled for a while, didn't know if it was going to get released. You probably didn't think twice about it. You made your money and you moved on.
So we got one more here from Paul Walter Hauser, the great and powerful. So I always love him speaking up on these issues because he seems very down to earth for a Hollywood actor with a name people have heard of. He says, the way Hollywood works, yeah. I was a local hire on Black Klansman and made $10,000 for 4 weeks. I paid for my flight from LA to New York in my Airbnb and transpo. After costs, manager, and agent fees, I likely made about $3,000. Residuals based on a $10,000 salary, so I ain't making much on the back end, but Black Klansman made $93 million worldwide. Movie got nominated for Best Picture, won an Oscar. People know I killed it in a popular movie, which begets more opportunities, like Spike Lee, like Spike inviting me back for his next movie. That's the jackpot, dude. This woman on Obsession is no different. Do the work, be good at your job, and you'll make more in the future.
Yes.
Boo-hoo, bro. This is the gig. This is reality.
Yeah, like it's like interns complaining they're not making enough, but they're really good at their jobs. And it's like, yes, and that's going to help you as a starting off point to do better in the future.
Mike Harlow also
Love Mike.
says, I regret, I didn't even get to his original post, but
Yeah.
he's continuing on this. He goes, I regret to inform you that the insufferable art director from Obsession continues to be insufferable. She's contacting the union to complain about a non-union production
What?
because reasons. Her post should
girl.
be taught in schools for how not for what not to do when opportunity knocks. Now, somebody pulled up, I thought this would be interesting to mention just as a bit of a counterpoint, as an example of how things could have gone in a different direction. So there was a movie made by Zendaya and Sam Levinson called Malcolm and Marie. It was made during COVID. It cost about $2.5 million to finance between her. I believe her and Sam Levinson did all the financing.
Oh, wow.
And she organized and she negotiated back-end points for the entire production crew for that movie.
Good for her.
If the movie did well, it went to TIFF that year, and it sold to Netflix for like $30 million because Netflix is insane and buys movies that nobody's ever heard of for $30 million, which means that people in on that crew were getting $300,000 checks for like a point on the back end.
Okay, but that's because Zendaya's smart in the industry. She knew what to do. It wasn't an indie film. Zendaya's been in the industry.
And she's funding it along with
she's
another.
funding it. She's taking the risk, and she said, my risk can be your reward, basically.
And the point is, she's part of this new generation of actors who want to push this kind of thing forward. Guess where this isn't happening? And I can almost guarantee you, it's not happening on Dune. It's definitely not happening with the Odyssey, like in these big budget movies like this. It's not happening for the below the line workers there. It is something that can happen with the indies, and it's going to stay there. And it's a lesson to be learned for this lady on what not to do. Because I feel like she just took a bunch of great
for other people.
Because none of the, like, what producer is going to want to work with her now? I can't
wouldn't.
think of one.
Heck no.
So, all right,
not.
Let's talk about the world's smartest reality TV contestant.
Yeah, so Love Island USA is up for, I believe it's like 7th or 8th season at this point. We have it here from the BBC, if I can speak. Police officer turned Love Island US contestant faces hometown backlash. Reading here from one Love Island USA contestant, the drama started before even entering the villa. The decision by a police officer in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. It's funny how they phrase it's the U.S. state of Pennsylvania.
Well, it's the BBC.
Right, so it's just funny. In Pennsylvania, to leave the force and choose love on one of the country's most popular reality TV shows has ignited tempers and become the talk of the town in his hometown of Bethlehem, PA. After Sean Rifle
I think it's, I don't know how it's pronounced,
rifle.
but we get a 20 real quick from Shane H. Wilder says $6,741.36 would equal out to $80,896.32 annual net. Your gross as a single person in California would be about $133,000 annually, or $11,083.33 for the month. I'm done. He goes, I've done non-union and didn't get paid nearly as much, and I was an assistant director. So,
Yeah.
continue.
Right. After Sean Rifles announced as a cast member on the dating show last week, the mayor of the city expressed frustration over his departure less than a year after he joined the department. Quote, I never thought I'd see a day in America where reality show participation wins out over being a police officer, Mayor J. William Reynolds said. Our police department spent a lot of time training, and we paid thousands of taxpayer dollars to send him to the police academy, he said. The vacant position cannot be filled until next year, he added. Rifle's former boss, Police Chief Michelle Cott, told the BBC that while the department respects his decision, quote, I would be less than candid if I didn't acknowledge my disappointment in losing another police officer. She said that with Rifle's resignation, the department now has 16 officer vacancies. He has noted Rifle's decision was not a good look. Quote, law enforcement agencies across the United States continue to face significant recruiting and retention challenges, and every vacancy affects our organization and community we serve. The drama has caused a stir among residents in the area, known for its lush greenery. How nice.
I was curious about what it, like, because I assumed you had to pay to go to the police academy.
I thought so too, but maybe there's a certain like amount of people that they take on. Like maybe it's dependent on like income, household income, or how, like if it's like a full-time thing and they don't have funding.
It says tuition for a municipal police academy Act 120 program in Pennsylvania typically ranges from $3,000 to $8,500, with a total out-of-pocket cost for uniforms, equipment, and testing fees coming to an additional $1,000 to $1,500. However, if you attend the Pennsylvania State Police Academy to become a state trooper, it is completely free and cadets are paid a salary. But
they're working as cadets. Maybe it's like the resources they use there at the police academy, resources that they then use when he becomes an officer.
$3,000 for tuition.
Again, I don't. Is this like for classes? Is this for the actual training on the job? They could be talking about having to pay him to do training on the job.
You would imagine they would have to pay people to become cops these days.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it has to do with like resources, giving him a badge, getting him his gun and his tasers and everything. That's all cost by that's all taxpayer funded. And then probably too, like on the job training, they have to pay them for some of it, I'm assuming, at some point. And so I'm assuming there were taxpayer resources put into it.
Oh, well, yeah, because like he takes up a spot at the academy that could have gone to somebody else who planned to stay.
Exactly. So, okay. A small business owner in the area said that she recounted the salon owner where she was at the time saying, OMG, did you hear? One of the contestants is from Bethlehem. He's a cop. And I was like, OMG, that's crazy. Ruff, whose kids go to school in Bethlehem, said she immediately texted her sister, who's like, yeah, we were just talking about it. This sounds like the worst kind of small town, by the way, but that's an aside. Everyone in the area is sending the show clips on Instagram to each other. It's like, can you believe this guy's on the show? Okay, cool. They're like excited he's on the show. Listen, I wish there was a different reason why we're being put out on the map, she said. But if it's to get people to learn about how pretty this part of the country is, I'm okay with it. So the idea here is that taxpayers funded like part of his training, so others were not as supportive. Some obviously were, but others were not, arguing that they had paid tax dollars to help train him. One person said the content of this type of show was, quote, not becoming of a police officer.
What does that even
I mean, Love Island is like one of those
no.
shows where everyone's like promiscuous and like.
So the first thing I thought
if he gets voted
of,
off first week, that'd be hilarious.
well, it's like he's taking a huge gamble. Like I don't know if this means like he can't. Is he in a similar situation to Sally Choi, where now no other police department would want him?
Probably because that's
he left
the baggage.
I thought about it, and there's a couple of examples in like Brandon Tatum was a cop and left to do content creation full time.
Sure, but I think it's the type of content creation.
And Johnny Q, who's like a gun tuber,
Again,
I believe was
different type of content creation.
So he's just
not
going into a
and
different
flashing
business.
your abs and making out with a bunch of women on camera, right? Like that's kind of different. But
I love this mayor being like, I can't imagine why somebody in the year of our Lord 2026, where half the country hates cops, and if you want to tell me that it's just ICE that they suddenly hate, no. Those same people that are out protesting ICE and throwing things at them and calling them names and threatening their families, they don't just hate ICE. They hate any type of law enforcement. There's a reason ACAB is a thing. Right? Like in the age of ACAB, why would this guy want to become a reality TV contestant?
Right. A black police officer.
It.
Why would a black man want to not be a police officer? But that's an aside. Another person said this, that it's all about work ethic, noting the short-term opportunity could impact the rest of his career. I doubt any police department anywhere is going to put any more energy into him after what he did to his previous department, which is to let them hang low. His family has taken social media defending him, obviously, because if he makes a bunch of money, they want to be in on that, I'm sure. Saying that the taxpayers did not waste money on his training and it's overblown. His sister said the city and the police force could have used his appearance as an opportunity to connect with the community, generate positive publicity on the town, and help improve perceptions of law enforcement.
I don't know if Love Island is the one you go to.
No,
to do
American
that.
Idol is the one you go
Yeah.
to. American Idol is the one that people are always like super excited, and there's like small town pride. Like I still see posts on Facebook like this person's from Maryland, and it's like okay, cool.
Big Brother. Is Big Brother still a thing? I don't watch reality TV.
Well, yeah, JoJo Siwa.
Yes,
we know that was.
Oh, that one gets spicy too.
So yeah, it does. So they're saying instead they choose a response that will likely reinforce the stereotypes they should be working to change. Is what they're saying. I'm talking like that because I think that's the stupidest thing ever. Like,
what is he gonna? Is he gonna do? Is he gonna do an illegal chokehold on the show?
It would be like when this show started and Tim got you like a studio set up and everything, and then after like a year you were like, and just dipped. After I'm gonna say like on and off camera, just investing in you as a person. He'd be like, what the heck? Like, I invested in you. He's a representation of taxpayers in this scenario, right? Like, he invested in you, and then you were like, yeah, but
they
like
called
I'm
him
vain.
Officer Sexy Pants. And he was a hit at work.
I'm sure he was.
I'm sure he was.
So the grand prize, $100,000 on Love Island. I don't even know how you win Love Island, but apparently you can. And a bigger prize is the fame and notoriety. That's obviously what he's going for. He was sworn in. I'm sorry, he wasn't even sworn in a year ago. He was actually sworn in August of 2025.
Damn.
And it's
under
June.
A year.
Yeah.
Under
his starting
a year.
salary was about $70,000, according to the website. That's about what they would make in the first year. But mind you, most officers end up growing and becoming detectives, becoming captains, or then going and doing like a sheriff's office or whatever.
They can
like
moonlight and do stuff on the side.
Yes, they can do private security on the side. Like I know some of the security here has law enforcement backgrounds or jobs they've done in the past. But to leave the job after, they're invested in training you and everything, yeah, I don't love that. I mean, yeah, that area of Pennsylvania is very beautiful, by the way. So if they're talking about publicity, that's all great and sunshines and rainbows. But him leaving to go and do this is not a good look, in my opinion. Also, like, there's plenty of police officers I've seen, just whether it be on TV, like a true, whatever show, or a local officer. There's good looking dudes that are on the force. They have to stay in shape.
Well, the thing is, his only other option is those yearly calendars. He's got to go.
Get a puppy and go stand in front of.
If he's not going to be Mr. July, then I guess he's got to go and join Love Island.
He could be Mr. July with a puppy shirtless on a calendar. I'm sure some women somewhere would buy it.
That was his claim to fame, right?
He should have.
Yes.
He should. My point being that I feel like with law enforcement, we already struggle as a country.
Oddly enough, the mayor looks like anemic Johnny Sins anyways. So,
a little bit. But is the mayor correct in this regard to be upset about this? About it?
No.
Really?
No.
Why?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because he's ignoring the fact that law enforcement is derided and hated these days. And if you don't think people are going to...
That is his point, is that by him leaving and doing this and being like, I'm going to find a better opportunity, that actually is a bad look, saying like he was so willing to leave the force.
I'd have to know if this guy was on scholarship. If he was on scholarship, that's a rude thing to do.
It kind of sounds like
I don't know how the pay structure for this type of things happens. If he paid out of pocket, that would change my opinion on this.
Also,
but in general, common sense tells you that a lot of people are going to be looking for a better opportunity.
Okay, but Okay, you're sworn in less than a year, and they're saying this vacant position cannot be filled until next year. I'm assuming that's a budgetary thing, or something is going on there. There's some stipulation. I'm sure they could, they would if they could, kind of thing. So now, presumably, that's one less officer on the streets, which could impact crime numbers.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that's 16, or I don't know what the heck is going on in Bethlehem. And now maybe there was already 10 when the year started because they couldn't fill those positions, so they're already stretched thin. So now you're asking officers to work tired. What happens if there's a crime? What happens if someone is, what if they need to negotiate? Like the point being, one officer can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Right? One extra body. We see this in shows all the time where they're down one person and now everyone has to scramble to cover a case. And it's unfair to his fellow officers. Presumably, most of them go out in pairs. He had a partner, or at least somebody he worked with. It says they only have 75,000 residents, but that is a lot of people. And now you are down one officer, which means now that your proportion of citizens to officers is different. I do think that he should have, if he was like, oh, I want to be doing this, like maybe getting a job as a cook or a waiter, or a job where you can easily leave and like they can find a replacement right away rather than waiting until next year.
I'm sure it wasn't that linear of a thought process.
But like, I'm just wondering, like, did he just suddenly...
I think it's short-sighted.
Like, yeah, when was he just like suddenly like, I want to go on Love? Like, where did that come from? He had to have had the desire beforehand. Like, I don't think it just popped up randomly.
I think it's short-sighted because, look, most people don't go on the reality shows to win. They go on there to get clout so that they can, get brand deals and move on. And he becomes an influencer rather than, what do they call him? Officer Sexy Pants. His sister left a comment on the E! News post.
Really?
Yes. She says, Sean's sister here with the... She's raising her hand. This could have been a great opportunity for the mayor and the police department to connect with the community.
Yeah, that's what we read.
Yeah. That was his sister that said that.
No, I know. Yeah, and that. But to me, it's like you're clearly like you want to be the sister of a famous guy. At least in my point of view, that's what this sounds like. Given the fact that he seems like he may be vain. If this is, I don't want to cast aspersions. If he's going to do this, he clearly cares a bit about what people think about him. And his family's going to be supportive because the more money he makes, if they have a good relationship.
Do you know who Derek Levasseur is?
No.
Says he does the Crime Weekly podcast.
Not a single.
I don't
read that. I don't do that.
So
stuff.
He says he responded to this as well. He said, "As a cop who went on reality TV, I can confidently say that the mayor missed an opportunity here. Not only
what
did
reality
members,
TV did he go on?
I'm assuming I don't know which one it would have been, but
Yeah.
He has a very big profile. He's over almost 400,000 followers. So as a cop who went on reality TV, I can confidently say that the mayor missed an opportunity here. Not only did members of the city I worked with get in together each week to watch the show, but when I returned home, I worked with the mayor to set up meet and greets at schools for the students and community members.
Yeah, the students that watch Love Island. The elementary kids that watch Love Island.
I can't tell you how many times I heard, I don't normally like cops, but you were cool. There was a chance to build stronger connection between the police department and the people they serve, and the mayor missed it. Well, I'm sure there were some lonely housewives or single women that would have loved a meet and greet at the local Starbucks.
Yeah, like my point, like you're saying like schools and impacting people, maybe the seniors in high school, but I wouldn't want to advocate for them to watch this kind of content because it is extremely sexual. And so I don't know what they're thinking is going to happen, but it shouldn't be this. Like, it should not be watching Love Island and promoting that. Maybe if they were on, like, I don't even know, like Survivor, maybe? No, like...
Yeah, Survivor would have been good.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's a really good idea.
Survivor would have been fine because that promotes your body strength and all the ways that, like, survival instincts that cops should have. That would promote that. Love Island, like, I don't think it's so much the fact he's going on a reality show as much as it is the show he's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where people are saying, like, wow, this isn't something to be proud of, I guess. This isn't, like, an upstanding way of being like, oh, we love our Love Island contestants.
They should have gotten a female cop on the show as well. That's what they should have done.
That's what they should have done.
They could have been on the July. They could have been on the sexy calendar together.
Yes, the Love Island sexy calendar of cops.
Sexy white go-go boots.
And
that's what they could have done.
That's what they could have done. And now they can't because they want you to not like the sexy white go-go boots or the Love Island people.
There's a Democrat conspiracy to stop police officers from going on reality television. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. What would you like to see, the cringe or the cute? Cringe first?
Give me that cringe.
All right.
Give me that
You
cringe.
said you wanted, what, the first 30 seconds or first minute?
I mean, yeah, because it's like a 3-minute long clip, and I will subject you guys to cringe, but not that long of cringe.
Okay. Here we go.
We're going into the store.
Oh, if you're listening to this, guys, it says reparenting in real time.
She's wearing a tiara in her
Wearing
car.
a crown. How are you feeling? Yeah, you're feeling a little bit nervous. It's okay. We always get a little bit nervous before, right? And then after you take those first few steps, you start to feel into it and you feel confident, right? But yeah, you're nervous in the beginning and you get some looks, right? But that's okay.
Bro, this
She's
ASMR
talking to
is-
herself, by the way.
Yes, this ASMR is like sending me. I can like hear the fabric of her pants
Just
as
do
she
like
calms
10 more
herself.
seconds. Let her get through the next little
We
bit.
can hold that. It's okay if people
There's
judge,
a car pulling out behind her, and they're just like,
Cute.
"What the fuck?"
right? And remember what we learned is like people looking at you doesn't necessarily mean that they're thinking bad thoughts.
That's true. We have a way too narcissistic of a society where everybody's out in public worried that everybody's
Sure.
looking at them.
Sure.
They ain't looking at you, homie.
Right? Some people can be completely neutral. Some people can be inspired. Some people can hate it. Some
Definitely nobody's inspired.
No
by you out
one's
in public.
inspired by your
Unless
crown.
you are jacked to the gills and you're like a specimen based on first appearances, or you're wearing something rare that costs a lot of money. You're probably not inspired.
You don't have to play more.
All right.
But she's reparenting herself. This is the same girl Mary has shown dancing in the aisles of Target, by the way, going, there's no need to be embarrassed. It's totally normal to dance. It's that chick.
It's just not at Target.
Well, she probably was in the Target parking lot, honestly.
This is from Aaron. And it says,
Hello.
this is Arlo. Arlo has
Arlo.
picked a unique position to sleep that looks like it's going to cause pain in the neck.
Hi, Arlo.
Arlo is very cute. We'll do one
Arlo's
more.
very handsome. Can you tell him we said that, please?
We will tell him.
No, I need Aaron to tell Arlo.
Right. Hold on. Let me find it here. Go down. Re-find where
So
I was.
many animals.
There's so many.
They're so cute. I see the kitten.
There's
food.
Arlo.
There we go.
I like it. And this one from Randall. This is Phoenix and Ember.
Hi, Phoenix or Ember, whichever
Looks
you
like
are.
it's in the RV. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not an RV. Looks
Hi,
like it.
kitty. Oh, hello.
That's very cute.
It's a tortoiseshell. I had a cat that looked like that, but she was a lot fatter growing up. Bella.
Yeah.
Footy.
Yeah.
Footy. I don't know if my dad's watching today, but he'll know Footy. Footy was what we called her because Fatty was a bit too mean, and so Footy
Okay.
is how she got her name. Also, can I just tell you guys an update? I'll give you guys an update on Toast because I think it's important, and I think the people want to know at this point.
Go for it.
Toast is an Aldi worker now. We got her. I got her. Like, I shouldn't say we, 'cause I was the one that definitely got this. One of those the cardboard house things because I wanted to get him a new one for the living room, and it's shaped like an Aldi shop. I will put it up for cute of the day. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow for Nepo Kitty. But she's very cute, and so now we're saying she works at Aldi. So congrats, Toast, on your new job. Drop some toasts in the chat.
She's not
For
gonna.
her new position at Aldi.
She's not gonna give you a bag at all. You're gonna have to use a box.
But she will make sure that you can get a quarter for your cart. She's a good worker like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Let's talk about a man named Hudson Williams. If you don't know who Hudson Williams is, that's probably because you don't watch gay hockey dramas on television. The show is called Heated Rivalry. It only has 6 episodes, yet somehow I feel like I've seen 5 seasons worth of promotion for this show because the buzz around it was so ridiculous in Hollywood. And what Hudson Williams is walking proof of is that when you enter the realm of like politically correct woke television, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and you will never be politically correct enough for your audience. So there is we'll get into the many crimes he is accused of committing in his past. They keep talking about how this dude who is ostensibly what seems like one of the least offensive people I've ever seen is somehow one of the most offensive people they've ever seen in their entire life. But this article is all because a photo resurfaced of Hudson Williams when he was at a party when he was in high school where teenagers did what teenagers do. They get drunk and they make bad decisions. Apparently at this party, everybody was using Sharpies to write on one another, and they wouldn't know what they were writing on each other. And the thing is, when you put high schoolers, alcohol, and a Sharpie together, you get bad decisions and you get offensive things. That's just the way it is. Any dude who has ever went to a house party and passed out drunk has seen some form of this,
usually
in one way or another.
A dick drawn on your
usually.
face. Yeah.
So this article is from Page 6, and this is the other article I was talking about from Page 6. They wrote an entire piece on this photo, and where is the photo? Oh, it's not in there at all.
He was so mad about that yesterday.
Here is the photo. They blurred out the faces of the young ladies in this photo because apparently he was in high school in this. You can see the symbol, the swastika, right up there. Somebody drew that on him. It also said AIDS on the side of his face and on his hoodie. It's blocked by this girl's hands here, but the other photos are not blurred, so I don't want to blow up someone's spot in this if the people posting these didn't think so. And it just got me to thinking, like, look, this show is for the wokest of the woke. And what I mean by that, guys, is that a show about gay hockey players is going to develop a certain audience. It's going to hit the hardest on Blue Sky and Stan Twitter, where they are going to argue to the high heavens. It's going to be shippers. Everybody knows that shippers are the worst of the worst. He did apologize for this, by the way, but it doesn't matter. Let's go through it. It says, Hudson Williams is reportedly deeply regretful over a picture of him with a swastika drawn on his face that resurfaced on social media over the weekend. In the photo circulating on X, which appears to be taken years ago, the heated rivalry star was with a group of friends wearing a blue shirt with drawings all over it. Yes, they say this, of course, because they wouldn't show you the damn photo. His face is also covered in markings done with a black marker, including a swastika on his forehead. There was also an upside-down cross, but I didn't see any mention of that being offensive
of course
to anyone.
not.
Sources close to Williams told TMZ that the picture was taken when the 25-year-old Canadian actor was still in high school and from when he took part of an annual camp-out tradition that often involved teens, underage drinking, and drawing on each other's shirts and bodies for laughs and to get shocking reactions. So I guess the first thing you have to ask yourself there is teenagers drawing shocking things on one another's clothes and person. Do you think they're doing it out of a sheer, love of a specific ideology or symbol, or do you think they're just trying to make their friends laugh by posting the most offensive thing they can do?
Absolutely, right? Yes. That is a no-brainer. That is absolutely what they're doing. I mean, it's a trope in college, too. Kids getting drunk, passing out, and then they wake up and there's stuff drawn all over their face. That's what happens. I don't know what people think is I don't think this is that big of a deal. I really don't.
Yeah. So it goes on. It says, Williams, the outlet reports that Williams had no idea what was drawn on his face at the time of the pic. I believe that 110%. I believe somebody probably showed him a picture after the fact.
Yeah.
He goes, but he understands that it's completely inexcusable. There's nothing to be excused.
You didn't do it.
He was an idiot in high school who did dumb things that high schoolers do. He's not professing his love for Nazism. He's a drunk kid in high school. And even if he was sober, he's a kid in high school at a party. Nothing needs to be excused.
The worst thing that woke culture does is go back and try to rehash something that happened years ago. That is absolutely the worst thing ever, is going through their history. And we'll go through it here in a minute, I'm sure, when you pivot to it. But the thread that this person made
it's insane.
Is insane. Trying to find every little thing he's ever done in his history.
Most of it not real. All the letterbox stuff is apparently fake, or at least
really,
yeah, for the most part, fake.
I mean, tons of people have done stupid things in their time, and you're offended by it. I don't. Also, why do you not have anything important enough in your day that you feel like you have to sit on Stan Twitter and crap on somebody's career? Who are you to I just.
So sources say that he deeply regrets the pick and understands the hurt and disappointment it caused, noting that he doesn't actually condone or support the drawings. No doubt, no duh. The markings do not have and have never reflected Hudson's beliefs, values, or character. One friend told TMZ. Page 6 reached out to him, then he didn't have a response. Shocking.
I wouldn't either, because I'd be like, I was a high school kid. I said something stupid.
He didn't even say anything stupid.
Yeah,
He didn't even say anything.
But
So-
again, like it's the principle of the thing. Like he shouldn't have to apologize.
So again, this is an actor who rose to prominence on Heated Rivalry.
A show about gay hockey players.
A show about gay hockey players, which means you know exactly the type of person that's going to really, really live for this show. They are on Stan Twitter. They're going to tell you that you have to support Palestine. They're going to tell you that you have to support every identity under the sun. They're going to tell you that capitalism is evil. They're going to tell you that, in fact, they might be so woke that Donald Trump is even the least of their concerns because they're far beyond that. They're worried about the Congo. Okay, that's how woke they are. That's of my opinion. And the fact of the matter is, what this proves, guys, is that the real world is always less politically correct than the internet world. People are just afraid of what the internet is saying. And this is what this thread was. This is somebody who says they're exposing Hudson Williams for being a racist, pedophilic Zionist. And they're going to reveal his problematic history. It's a thread. Here's the first one. He's a racist. There are pictures of him mocking black women in culture. I don't know if
It's the hat, the head. But it was probably him getting a hair thing done and didn't need it and just happened to be this.
Oh,
one.
is this him with like what looks like braids or dreads? Like braids.
So what?
There's the rumors of a racist Instagram account whose name I can't say, but apparently was one that supposedly him and another person shared. And he's got that here. And then down here, this is my favorite personal one. He's a Zionist. He's an ambassador for Bulgari. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Okay. Bulgari is owned by LVMH. It's essentially a giant company that owns a bunch of other companies. They bought Bulgari back in 2011. LVMH was cited for using slave labor in China to produce Dior bags. Unless this person is tweeting with smoke signals, his phone has probably used slave labor.
The battery in your phone was
Cobalt.
definitely cobalt and definitely mined by little children.
And unless every aspect of your life is ethical in its consumption, I highly doubt that you are clean of this. But then my favorite part is this. At the very end, he just adds as a complete non sequitur, he's also not spoken up for Palestine.
It's because they brought up Israel.
This is the audience
Saying he's
cultivated.
predatory. Now, again, they're saying that this is not true.
They cannot prove
But
that,
they
that he
cannot prove
denies
it.
that any of these letterbox are his. He did a specific interview saying like none of this is real.
Yeah.
Like it became a meme to make fake movie reviews about his.
Saying that
One about Lolita, and then this one about supposedly about Nope, where he says, I changed my mind. This is a bad movie. It effing sucks. It's not subtle. It's slow. It's unrewarding. Its big moments are pitifully executed, and it's silly in bad ways. I'm a hater. Time has passed. I should move on, but I stay here, resilient in my hate, reveling in my own bitterness. I stay resentful at the time taken away from me sitting and watching this pathetic attempt at a movie. I scorn and spit at you, Nope. And that's the way I like to live, baby.
dear Lord. Yeah, sure. That's what he said.
They
And-
say he's a queer baiter.
Yep, that's my favorite one, is that he's a queer baiter. Like, he's a straight man in a... Actually, no, my favorite one is number 7. But saying he's ugly as crap.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't... Like, what is that guy? That's just like a personal jab they just had to take. Because they're like, oh, and by the way, he's ugly. Like...
So this is what happens when you like promote the worst audience you can possibly think of. I would never want to be an actor in 2026. I would never want to be a celebrity. I would never want to have to like be beholden to like stands on Twitter who are deciding who I should or should not be with based on past comments where they dig it up. It's always resurfaced. Have you seen anything else? Like, you had to have seen fandoms like this when you were growing up.
I wasn't this type of toxic, but I was in fandoms that had these members in them. So, for example, let's say that Harry Styles dated somebody back in the day. They're like, why Harry Styles' girlfriend is a homophobic piece of crap. And then they put like, 5 years ago, she stopped being friends with a gay guy. And it's like, okay, that could have been for any reason. It doesn't mean that she's like homophobic. Like there were toxic aspects to a lot of those fandoms, but that's what happens when you have a stan culture. I was never a stan per se, but I was a super fan. A stan denotes some kind of like toxic behaviors, and I really was just posting like updates on the guys and stuff, so that's kind of different. Like I had people sending me stuff to be like, oh, they're in like Birmingham, and then I would post the picture and say, you know, Harry spotted in Birmingham this afternoon, and then that would get retweeted like a bajillion times, and then that would be that. That's what I posted. I didn't post this stuff.
I like this one. I just love some of the comments. This person says, not a Hudson defender, but you support McKenna Grace, who has also not spoken out for genocide and literally starred and promoted Scream 7.
Literally.
Despite the movie firing Melissa Barrera for supporting Palestine. Now, I want to point this out because I was recording a video about this earlier. Like, you should be able to like the art of somebody whose opinions you disagree with. Now, I understand that there is a strong argument to be made that when you're on the promotional tour for a movie, you should be buttoned up, you should stay focused and on point, you should try to sidestep the media's every attempt to give you some type of grievance question that they will then turn into a headline that will then be bad for you. But in lieu of that, which I understand, people have their issues with that, but for the most part, unless it's something like that, like you should be watching movies that you like and not worried about whether the person who is doing it supports Israel or supports Palestine or even after a fact, like you can love an actor because they're unapologetically pro-America, I guess.
But you might not like the movie.
But he's gonna,
I don't know.
depending on you know how much he takes his job seriously, he's gonna have to be in a movie with somebody who might not feel the same way. And you don't want to section yourself off and create your own echo chamber. Then you have to be a McKenna defender like this person here who says, but I heard you don't like McKenna. Also, McKenna literally visits Fund for Gaza events. Her parents and childhood best friend openly support Palestine, and she defended Rachel Zegler when she got bashed for speaking out about for Palestine.
This is so stupid.
Like,
I'm sorry.
again,
this is so stupid.
it's my job to talk about this stuff, and I refuse to care. I refuse to care whether an actor does any of that stuff. I will report on it when it comes up.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to go see Supergirl anyways.
Yep.
I'm going to go see Supergirl
We are
anyways.
gonna go see Supergirl.
And if you're not going to see it, I would reckon that it's better to not go see it just because the movie looks bad than to worry about whether she said something stupid that might or might not have been manipulated in headline form by the people who wrote these articles. And let's face it, these journalists hate these actors. I refuse to believe otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
They want them to say shit that they know is going to get them in trouble because it's good for their bottom line.
Yeah, go
right?
It gets some clicks and clout. Also, if I keep doing this, guys, it's because it is an open wound, and every so often, if I put my hand down, it hurts.
Okay.
I'm okay. I'm sure they're probably like, "What are you doing?" It's painful.
One person says, "I hate him and his fans. Believe me." But y'all need to stop calling anything Zionist. I think they meant everything.
Anti-Zionist.
No, they didn't
Zionist,
say that.
Yeah, Zionist.
This is a big reach, and the situation is too serious to joke about and give actual Zionists the satisfaction of having more celebrities on their side. And then the next one, this is what I meant to read. I'm sorry, but it does not make him a Zionist for taking a taking $1 million brand deal from a company that's owned by a problematic company. You could say that for most brands of that size. For instance, they're tweeting this on X, helping the revenue of Elon Musk, which you don't need to guess whether or not the person who did this thread likes Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You and I both know that they do not.
They hate him.
Right?
They hate him.
That is. Just, you can never be too woke.
True.
You can never. Let me rephrase. You can never be woke enough.
There you go. Yeah, you can never.
And you
be
guys
woke
know how
enough.
much I hate that word. You got me today.
I forgot.
Did you guys?
I'm normally so good about keeping an eye on it, but I got so invested today that I didn't keep an eye on it. I don't like wearing the headphones. They give me a headache because they're heavy, so I don't wear them. But
what I've realized,
just in case it goes off again, because we're not doing that shit again.
Yeah. What I've realized is I actually I can't do this show without the headphones. I can do IRL without the headphones.
It's hard because they're so heavy on my head and they give me a headache.
There's something about, like, it literally blocks out, like, I have such a bad attention span that it blocks out every other noise
like if someone walks
that's going on.
Or whatever, yeah.
That's why, like, anytime you read something funny or something and you make a face, I'm like, what, did something happen?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm back.
Hello.
Oh, I
back.
can also hear you.
My adrenaline is like, whoop. Yeah. We're good. Just like last night. All right, we're good.
All right, let us move on. Okay, you're gonna have there. Look, if you thought that the influencer abortion story was bad before, it's only getting worse, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and there is an update to this that we had live when this happened.
Okay.
So I sent it to you on Slack. Pull it up, and then we can start the segment here. YouTuber Jesse Ridgway is just continuing to bury himself under controversy over controversy after aborting his child that was diagnosed allegedly with Down syndrome. YouTuber Jesse Ridgway, "I'm glad I wasn't aborted, but I'm normal," is the quote we have here. We have it here from TMZ. He isn't backing down from the abortion firestorm surrounding his family, rejecting claims that his own life proves he and his wife Ashley made the wrong decision not to carry their unborn child to term. The influencer, aka McJuggernuggets, I always feel like I'm saying a slur when I say that name, addresses the controversy during a lengthy live stream Saturday where he appeared to respond to folks who have spent days attacking the couple online over their decision to terminate a pregnancy after learning their unborn baby had Down syndrome. Near the end of the stream, Jesse took aim at one argument he's been repeatedly seeing, saying, quote, "I'm glad my dad didn't effing terminate me, but I'm normal." There has been intense debate across social media since they revealed they ended the pregnancy after prenatal testing showed their child had trisomy 21. As reported, the couple said the decision was made only after extensive conversations, and they described the experience as heartbreaking, insisting it was not a choice they made lightly. The announcement triggered an immediate backlash online, with critics flooding the couple's pages with angry comments. Jesse revealed they have been receiving death threats from people furious over their decision, and they said on TMZ Live the harassment got so severe they're taking extra safety precautions at home, like sleeping with a gun nearby. The criticism keeps coming, but Jesse won't show any signs of second-guessing the decision. So, first of all, this tells you everything you need to know about the fact that it was... Now, we'll get into the rumors in a second. Let's say it's real. He is basically saying that he doesn't want a kid with anything wrong with them. Not autism, which you can't even diagnose when they're in the womb. He doesn't want their kid to have any defects. They have to be, quote, normal. That's disgusting. That is so gross to me. But there's even discussion about if this is even happening now.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So there is a debate going on online right now. This has been happening since probably Friday, saying, is this real? Is it not? What's going on?
We got 20.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
From 214 Westside. Sorry, I missed this one, brother. Says, I watched both movies this weekend. I rate Scary Movie 6 dog shit, and I rate Masters of the Universe. It's a good time if you're drunk. He gave us Jeremy. In my mind, my friend, you are Jeremy Johns on an alt. Because you gave me Jeremy Johns ratings, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy Johns. I know you're probably not him, but I don't care. We're going to say it anyway.
I love Jeremy Johns.
Yep. Okay, so we have this here from an account called Brian Eastwood. He said, this Jesse and Ashley Ridgway Down syndrome abortion story isn't adding up. I think they faked the whole thing. I went to McJuggernuggets' YouTube channel, which is Jesse's main channel with over 4 million subscribers. His channel is riddled with controversial and weird, depressing videos. His wife Ashley has been the girlfriend leaving him in a number of videos. There are many videos about bad diagnoses to various people in his lives. How do we know any of this is real? And there's a screenshot here that basically has, well, it's like a collection of screenshots. So, saying bye to Poopy John. I don't know. Ashley and I broke up. My girlfriend is leaving me. Rushed to the emergency room. Rip Aunt Jackie. Oh, that was about... McJuggernuggets undergo surgery. My mom has a tumor. My girlfriend is done with me. My girlfriend is leaving me. Begging for my ex-girlfriend back. McJuggernuggets' new girlfriend. Fans broke into my house. The truth about my fake girlfriend. Those are all video titles. So people are saying, you know, he's not a serious person. This dude, it's fake dude. So then they show, if you go, I don't know if you'll see it in the comments, but there are comments that are pointing out that she doesn't even look pregnant in a recent video. And they think that it's fake. Because of that, because she would have been, you know, 5 months pregnant or something, and she's not even that video right there that you see. She doesn't even look bloated in that video.
But there's the Down syndrome.
talking about the baby could have Down syndrome. And I'm sorry, but a baby bump at 5.5, like 5.5 months. I mean, we saw our friend over the weekend who is pregnant, and if you see when she outlined her belly, I think she's about that same level of pregnant. And she definitely looks pregnant. Not in a bad way. It's very cute. She looks wonderful. I love Alexis. But she definitely looks pregnant, right? Whereas this woman looks totally flat. Like, unless it's one of those really rare ones, I don't know. People are saying, like, it's rage bait. People are saying, you know, there's more screenshots here saying psycho dad destroys Xbox. My girlfriend was shot for her 30th birthday. The Calm Before the Storm, all these different titles that show this could be fake. We have it from another account, Lucky Teeter. So their engagement has completely crashed as well. 10 years ago, Jesse Ridgway was getting tens of millions of views with his Psycho Dad videos. Now his most recent videos are barely cracking 20,000. I bring this up to show that there is a chance that this could have been a fake story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, this popped up. I didn't even get to read this entire post, but I want to get through all of this because it's kind of content heavy on the front end here.
No, go ahead.
Of what Jesse Ridgway posted just less than an hour ago, actually. I'm going to read the post. We don't really have to watch the video, but I am going to read this. My wife's heart has been shattered since the amniocentesis result, which are definitive, by the way. No, they're not, Jesse. They never are. But let's continue. Yet it has only gotten worse. These last couple weeks have been the hardest of her life. It's times like these, okay, where you want to be able to depend on your family for love and support. This video is from the evening after the procedure. My parents drop off an extremely thoughtful gift basket and show unconditional love and support. Meanwhile, her family has been nowhere to be found. Some even going as far as joining in on the bandwagon hate publicly, kicking her while she's down at her lowest point. She has received text messages from her family accusing me of abusing and that I'm brainwashing her, issuing ultimatums that she needs to leave me immediately. Audacious that will have your head spinning because of delusional lack of consideration. Downright disgusting gossip and talking amongst important people in her life she's not even blood related to. No backbone, just cowardice, as they accuse me of making a decision and controlling / manipulating her all of these years together. We put up with a lot of crap, but when it's your own family exercising their bitterness and turning their backs on you, what matters most, it really reveals everything about their character. Heck, I've even seen the worst, quote, friends publicly joining in on the crusade despite full well knowing that behind closed doors they would have made the same decision. I don't relish in sharing these things because it only further divides. But when you're MIA, complicit and offensive during the hardest times of our lives, you will never deserve to be there when it's good. My wife is the sweetest and strongest woman I know. The last thing she deserves to be treated this way. My heart goes out to all of the women who have had to keep their abortions private for fear of judgment from friends and family. It's the last thing you should be dealing with when you're already confronting the hardest and worst times of your life. This is a sad reality. It's why I continue to speak out. It's why I keep sharing things, or I'm not hiding. The truth may be hard, but at least you're living freely. Do not let others' opinions define your life. If you click on the video just for a second, I just want to show, like, he's clearly showing her in a vulnerable moment.
What is all that?
But I also don't
Somebody
know if this
dropped
is real.
all this off for you.
What is it all? I see cookies. Oh my god, this is expensive. Cookies. Pretzels.
Okay. So for me, this is like, maybe it's the way she's talking and it feels fake to me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's my bias showing. But the way she's like, oh, are those cookies? What's that? Like, it's very overplayed, and it's probably because she sees a camera on her. But like, if we went through something traumatic and let's say my family sent a care package and you carried it in, be like, someone left this at the door. First of all, if you put a camera on me and I'm like makeupless crying in bed after a procedure, I'd be like, I will throw your phone out a window, turn that damn camera off.
This is assuming that this is not real. It's just advanced performance art that's
it's
found
even worse
the most,
if it's not real.
Has just found a way to harness one of the most contentious topics in America and turn it into views.
But also, like, this bag, I don't know if his family lives close by. Maybe they did and they dropped it off. I have no idea. But it's great regardless. I mean, they probably found a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm not going to, too many things in here. But for him to say, like... Also, I realize he does have like a movie out, like a YouTube movie out, which is kind of weird. It's still, I think it might still be, I don't know if it was at the time when the post went viral, his pinned post. But him saying like, oh, my family or her family isn't around. Well, I'm assuming her family's pro-life, so that could be a possibility. That is also their grandchild, and that could be why they're upset by it. But saying that they're putting up with a lot of this, but you're also actively airing out everything, and that's going to welcome any reaction. It doesn't matter. You're putting it out there. You're going to get a reaction. And to record your wife and her most... if this is true, if it's all true, big if here, both are bad.
They conflate the idea of coming out to your family and friends about an abortion with telling the entire world about an abortion, which are not the same things.
If it's true, if the abortion happened, they get this care package, he is showing her most vulnerable moments and putting it out there for the whole world to see, and that makes him, in my opinion, a very bad husband. The flip side of this is if it's not real and this is all fake and it's all done for clout, that is also terrible because you're drumming up sympathy from people and creating a response and expecting, like, you are in on this content. How are you ever to be trusted again as a creator? Seriously.
I mean, but the thing is, his platform seems to be on the idea where it's like,
but this is crossing
pseudo
a line.
reality.
This crosses a line. This isn't also an aside, but also relating to this. I'm so glad we're not a couple that's constantly making content and have our phones in each other's faces, like recording every moment
it's
of our
awkward
lives.
and weird.
It is weird. Yeah. And so them sharing this in the first place, but again, they shared the reason why this seems, again, no bump at all. They show a pregnancy test. You can get pregnancy tests like for pretty cheap that look like they're real and have the positive result on it. People have done that as pranks, which is dumb. Don't do that, but they've done it. And I don't know. I'm leaning towards maybe it is fake. It's just so hard. Like, that's such a black-pilling thing to think because I don't want to think anyone would do it, but at least if they're going to go out there and say all this happened, it actually happened.
It's
I mean, what's your opinion?
I think that so I'll operate under the premise that it's fake. So operating under the premise that they made it up, what you're seeing is somebody control the public conversation by finding out, like, we live in an age now, especially if you're hyper online, if you're online a lot, you're in tune and constantly worried that you're going to get got, that you're going to get had, that somebody's going to trick you, right? You don't want to be seen as somebody who isn't in on the joke. And maybe the question here is, like, what is the one topic? Did they find the one topic that is so egregious that your instincts to snuff, to smell out bullshit and know when something might seem a little bit too rage baity, when does it get overridden and you have to make your opinion heard because it just seems too egregious? Why would anybody lie about that? Well, I can tell you why people would lie about that. They would lie about that for clicks. They would lie about that for clout. When your platform is based on the idea of creating pseudo-reality where your videos call into question every aspect of your life, it's like when I talked about the concept of kayfabe before. Who knows? And we may never know when it comes to a story like this. I don't know. The real question is, does he benefit from coming out later and saying, actually, this was all a viral marketing campaign for my next video? Absolutely not.
That's way worse in my opinion than the actual thing.
I think that's only true of right-wing people with pro-life sensibilities. If you're a left-wing person who found what he did to be uncomfortable and bad, it might turn your opinion around on that.
Yeah,
not good, but possible.
Maybe
like because then it calls into question. Well, he wouldn't actually abort the child if they found out he had trisomy.
Trisomy 21. But like, is that? I don't know, man. Like, is that still? But then they're like, oh, well, then he just drummed up all of this, like, anti-abortion rhetoric for no reason. Like, they could get mad at him for being like, look what you've done to the pro-lifers.
That is
you made them more emboldened.
That is a right-wing position. The question is more, what does it do to the moderates and
sure, but they could say,
lefts,
like, if people that are against or pro-abortion against the right could be like, well, you just made it harder for abortion because you just drummed up the pro-life side. So they could be mad at him for being like, you just made their point, like, you proved their point by then using it for sympathy. And drumming up all of this jargon when it was starting to die out a little bit. Yeah. Not die out entirely, but it wasn't like the hot button issue of the time. That's like immigration. And now it's the hot button issue again.
It just kind of furthers the idea that nothing is real anymore.
I'm checking if abortion's an outpatient procedure.
Nothing.
Because he
I
said this was the
imagine
night
after a
after.
certain period of time, it's not, but
Right, because they're saying
depends on how far along they are.
they're saying that it's surgical abortions. Patients usually go home within a few hours. Okay, because I was just making sure that because he said this was like the night after she got her thing, and I was like, well, not if she was supposed to be in the hospital. I mean, a lot of people are going to argue abortion is a sick thing. Now aborting a child because, and then saying that you were born normal, so you shouldn't have been aborted. You're glad you weren't aborted.
Even that line felt so egregious that it was on purpose, right?
Right.
It was like the disability equivalent to saying "you people."
Right, or like a race or something,
Yeah.
right? It's like the racist version of saying, well, you're kind. It's like,
Or like,
what?
You're one of the
Yeah.
good ones to someone.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Or like, oh, you beat the stereotype.
Like
That's
what
not
it felt
really a
like to me.
compliment,
That's
but
what
okay.
it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like it's being egregious for the sake of being egregious.
Yeah, he is the worst kind of person because he does it all online.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. We've got through the difficult topics here today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try to do something that we have never done on this show before. Let's try to do a spoiler-free review for Masters of the Universe. Let's get through the plot point specifically, then we'll go through a couple things we liked and a couple things we didn't like and try to leave it as vague as we can. So if you want a synopsis of the plot, basically what it is that Prince Adam is on Eternia. He is young, he is weak, despite the fact that Tila looks like 3 to 5 years older than him. He's young, he's weak, his dad is trying to toughen him up, and it's not working at that moment when all of the sudden Skeletor attacks. From there, Adam is sent with the Sword of Power to Earth. He is separated from the sword, and for the next however many years, 15, 20 years, he knows that he is destined for something more. He has not forgotten about his home on another planet. He is actively trying to find the Sword of Power that he was separated from and daydreaming about making it back to Eternia, which is his home. He's also not shy about telling everybody about Eternia, despite the fact that he's got to know how absolutely insane he sounds. And finally, Tila, he finds the sword. He then takes the sword illegally by getting into a fight in a collectibles shop. From there, the cops arrest him. He is then saved by Tila after he is attacked on planet Earth. She comes through on her ship. She takes him and the sword back to Eternia, and he has to stand up to Skeletor, find his power, and save Eternia. Does that sound like a good plot synopsis?
Good enough.
Good enough?
Without giving away anything.
Okay. So this movie was directed by Travis Knight. And Travis Knight, if you don't know, he did Bumblebee. And that really is the only thing of note that he was done. When I looked into it, I was actually kind of shocked. I thought he was going to have more credits to his name, but Bumblebee was his big movie. So the question here is, you have two things that are adaptations of famous franchises that Gen Xers would have liked. One being Transformers, one being, of course, Masters of the Universe and He-Man. Now, I will say, a lot of people seem to like Bumblebee a lot, but I think the reason that they liked it, and I mentioned this when we did our spoiler review, I think the reason that they liked Bumblebee was mainly because they didn't like the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and they basically would have taken anything as long as it wasn't Bayformers. As a lifelong Bayformers defender, I take umbrage with that, but I did think that Bumblebee was an okay movie, and that's what it is. First of all, let's get one or two of your positives. So what's one thing you really liked about this movie?
One thing I really liked, I'm not going to take one of yours, even though I share it with you. I really liked Idris Elba's character, Duncan.
You like Man-at-Arms?
Loved the Man-at-Arms and the kitty. I
Didn't even care that he was race swapped.
Didn't care that. Well, again,
That's why
I'm
it
not a
benefits
fan.
you.
Yes, that's why it benefits me. I was not a fan. Like, it wasn't my thing or whatever. But I think Idris Elba is such a good actor. He can pull off that it's a race swap and it doesn't affect the character. It doesn't matter that he's black. Like, that doesn't even play a role. He's just a great actor and was perfect for this role.
How did you feel about the fact that they made him have to rebuild his character by turning him into a drunk after Skeletor takes over?
I like that because it does show that there was very little hope when Adam was gone. They show that there was no hope because Skeletor was, overseeing the kingdom and things have gone really badly. It shows that a lot of people give up when, and he also, I can't say too much because it'll give away stuff, but he is no longer a subject of the king and the queen, and they were a benevolent leaders with him specifically.
Well, it's because he was in charge of their security.
Right. And I'm saying,
he reported directly to them.
They're not there, and so he felt like that was his life's goal. His life's mission was to protect them, and there was nothing else to protect. He just, and I think it does. He also like acknowledges it partway through the film, and again, it's really hard not to give spoilers. Him basically acknowledging at one point, I am really not as bad as my daughter might think, but I want to protect her in a certain way. Like I don't want to.
There were layers to the character.
Yeah, a perfect layers to the character, and I liked Cringer because he's a kitty and I like cats.
I knew from the moment that we were going to see this that Battle Cat was going to be her favorite part of the.
There was
movie.
He was like when he was a baby, and you're like, oh, and then he grows old and comes back, and you're like, oh. Okay, sorry.
So I'll give you a couple of really big positives. The score for this movie is freaking fantastic. Okay, it was done by Daniel Pemberton, who has done a lot of stuff. Daniel Pemberton did not just Masters of the Universe, but he did Project Hail Mary this year. He also did The Materialists. He did He did Eddington, which a lot of people really, really enjoyed, and he did The Drama, which whether you like it or not, that was a big one that came out this year as well. So he's done something really, really special with the score for this movie. It's like this blend of 80s rock with electronic synth. It hits all the heavy points in the movie. It accentuates every scene. He also knows how to peel it back when this movie does its one big emotional scene, which is when we'll get into in a little bit. I'll stay spoiler free, but he gets into it there. He handles it masterfully. And then I think that Nick Galitzine as Prince Adam, with what he was given, absolutely nails the material because he has the most well done awkward humor I've seen in a lot of movies. The problem is there's just so damn much of it that it's over the top.
But we'll get there in a minute.
Yes.
The other thing, I just had something I really liked and then I totally lost it.
Okay, so I believe that one of the things that most people are going to love about this, Jared Leto is Skeletor.
Oh, sorry, that's what it was.
Yes.
Skeletor was so unapologetically evil that even when, and again, without giving away too much, but when Adam is like, we could talk, and that goes into what happened on Earth, and you'll understand if you see the movie, he is just so evil that he doesn't even pretend to not be evil.
They even try to redeem him, and he says no.
Yeah, they give him an opportunity to be redeemed, and Skeletor's like, no, but
I want to be evil.
Well, he didn't say evil. I want to be a villain. And when you were like evil in the chair next to you, did say you were like,
sad.
what?
I was very sad when he said villain.
The prosthetics or whatever they use are so good.
They said it was a blend of prosthetic and CGI. Yeah,
so good, you guys. The eyes, great. Because they're like the red laser eyes, and they even are expressive in a way. They did such a good job. Jared Leto was great. He was perfect for that role, in my opinion. And I'm not like a Jared Leto fan, but he did really good in this
You don't
role.
even know it's him.
Right.
He's doing such a ridiculous voice that
you don't know it's him.
You have no idea that it's him. The movie would be successful.
So good. Oh my gosh. Again, that was, I think a lot of people thought that's where they were going to go wrong, is maybe something with Skeletor and making him look like a humanized version of Skeletor, or like a non-cartoon version of Skeletor, live action. It was good.
Yep.
That was the other thing I really, really liked. That's what I was going to say, at least. I mean, again, there was other things that I liked, but if we're going to talk about two big ones, Skeletor.
So another thing that I really, really liked is Prince Adam and Teela have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And through that great chemistry, they managed to avoid, at least for me, one of the pitfalls, which is the girl boss, which is Teela is, based on some definitions of the term, a girl boss.
Yeah.
She's better at fighting in the early part of the movie than Adam is, but mainly because she looks like she's about 5 years older. And in the future, she is the one taking care of everything. Her dad is a drunk and burned out. But you don't get the feeling that her commentary is done out of a sense of malice. It's done out of a sense of fear for her homeland. And protection for her father, somebody that she loves dearly.
And she also was raised to have to be a fighter. He was not. And so her at the beginning being more of a fighter does make sense.
Yes. And it does not overstay its welcome in this respect. When He-Man has the power finally, when he actually gets the sword, he does take over and he gets his moments to shine in the movie. Now, I have some critiques with how they got there when it came to that, but another couple of quick big positives for this. There is a fantastic Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave that one out. Just because somebody might want to find out for themselves.
Yes.
Spends the majority of its time on Eternia.
Yes.
That's great.
There you go.
This isn't one of those movies where, for the sake of budget, they move it to Earth and then have the whole thing take place there because they don't want to spend the money on CGI. But one of my critiques of this movie is the CGI is a bit uneven in specific places.
I didn't notice it.
Mainly because they did spend the money to make sure that the majority of this movie spent its time on Eternia. Now, we'll get into the critiques and we'll go with the one really, really big one that I'm sure most people had for this movie. So bear with me as I kind of rant here a little bit. I understand that there are different perspectives on whether or not He-Man is considered a serious franchise. I have read more than a few takes that say that there are comic runs that do a very, very serious or more serious take on He-Man than perhaps others. But for the most part, a lot of people would say that it was a toy line, and the comics, or I'm sorry, in the cartoons and such were camp. The stuff that I remember seeing was that way. Remember, neither of us were big He-Man fans. My brother probably was more so than me.
Wonder if he'll see it.
But the thing about this movie is, even if this movie was based on a property that had never been serious, the absolute overabundance of ridiculous jokes in this movie is almost shocking. If you want to take the critique of MCU humor, this is MCU humor on steroids, as I said the other day, for lack of a better word. So this is basically what you're going to see. I'm not going to give you any plot details. Something emotional happens. Something emotional, something serious happens. There's rising tensions, and then it's cut through with some type of snarky joke. Yeah. And this happens over and over and over again.
Or a serious moment's about to happen, and then it cuts in with the humor. So the only thing, and I will say, kind of spoiler, but not really, there's like a scene where you can tell he likes Tila and wants to kiss her, and then there's like, they cut it with a joke.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, like, again, I kind of liked it just because I feel like it gave into the long game of the movie, and it didn't like focus too much on it, but that's besides the point. They cut those kind of moments. Like, that's one we can share with you.
There was just so much more. It makes the movie feel like a movie because you've seen the same setup 30 times before. You know exactly what's going to happen.
You know it's going to happen.
And it takes you out of Eternia.
It does.
And firmly puts you in the position of watching a movie. Now, here's the thing. They built up a lot of goodwill because it was a lot of fun, so that didn't really matter. There is one big scene with his dad where they let it happen, where they let the scene play through. They don't cut it with a joke. And I got so annoyed at the end of this scene because when it was over, I'm like, look at all of the things that could have been done. There was the bones, the structure of a fantastic movie that could have been both humorous and serious. And instead of embracing both sides of it, they gave you a couple of crumbs of the serious note and left you with nothing but MCU humor the rest of the way.
Big agree.
I think the other big critique for this movie is that it has a lot to say about the concept of masculinity. Well, it also has a lot to say about HR culture and stuff like that. And in lieu of actually having something specific they wanted to address, they tried to both sides it in some weird way. And what you got was a muddled mess with no clear messaging based on the concept of what they were talking about, which would have been fine if they didn't spend a lot of time on it. But a huge amount of this movie is spent talking about masculinity. Is it good? Is it bad? HR culture, blah, 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 blah. Empathy, all of these things. Now, if you're along for the ride and the pretty colors are going and you like watching He-Man destroy bad guys, it's fine. But the thing is, the reason this movie's probably not doing as well as it could at the box office is because the people who are trying to give word of mouth to their friends, they don't know what to say. There's no clear message for it.
And I think one thing too that we kind of talked about, I can't remember, Evil Lynn or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're leaving it up to possible sequel.
Or
way,
worse, an Amazon series.
Right, because, and you guys will understand why I'm just going to say they leave it open for that, the way that they kind of leave it open-ended there. But I don't know. I mean, it was fine. I'm not a fan of the franchise. If you're a fan of the franchise, you probably wouldn't love it.
There's a catch-22 here. On one hand, I can't really say that I would say necessarily go see it in the theaters unless that you're an open-minded He-Man fan and you really, really just want to see it just to make up your own mind.
Yeah.
But the thing is, It also needs to be experienced on the big screen because the benefit of a movie like this is a bunch of money was spent on visuals and there's a lot of big fight scenes and action sequences. It is better experienced in a theater, but at the same time, it struggles. So I don't know what to say about it. And I guess that alone, you know, in lieu of having like a real rating to give it, make up your own mind. Does an overabundance of MCU humor prevent you from wanting to go see a movie? If it does, this one might not speak to you. This one might be a problem because this was every MCU joke times 1,000.
Very like Tom Holland Spider-Man as stuff.
Or I mean any of the Avengers.
Yeah, but it's just
Paul Rudd.
Or Paul Rudd, those two, him too.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I can't say that I had a bad time. I had a lot of fun at the movie. I think the most surprising part for me was I loved Tila and him together, and I wish that they would have leaned further
and I'm glad they
into
didn't,
the romance of it.
weird.
I know that the way that the script was laid out wouldn't have allowed for it in the way that it was done because he spends all his time back on Earth, so they've been separated for the majority of the time. Perhaps if they had started the movie with him and her being a little bit older and he's returning home to someone that he once loved, that would have made sense.
But they do leave it open to
further
possibly happen in another iteration.
So, all right. Look, like I said, you can probably wait for Amazon Prime on this one, but I'm not going to say that I didn't have a good time with the movie because I absolutely had a lot of fun with it. My heart kind of aches for them because I saw a way better movie there that they didn't have the guts to execute for fear of taking sides on the topic of masculinity or for fear of taking itself seriously and actually giving more than one specific moment a real moment to shine.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Can I mention something before we get into Super Chats? I'm sorry, I saw this as we went live, and I just have to tell people. Tom Brady has come out with the coconut water called Good Nut, and he did a commercial where he said the slogan is, "It's a delicious mouthful." And I just wanted everyone to know that. And yes, we saw it. That's, I'm sure people will be like, "Oh my gosh, do you see this?" Yes, we know about Good Nut. Continuing on.
I saw somebody in the chat, Luffy says, "Oh, Brett, was He-Man like Shang-Chi? Mind blown." Woke shit. I remember liking Shang-Chi for what it was, but it's not a movie I would have ever seen twice, and I've never rewatched. My main point was that it's the best of Phase 4 Marvel, which isn't saying a whole lot. So use the context clues of what I was saying. I wasn't calling it as good as Captain America Winter Soldier. I was saying that it was the best of Phase 4, which wasn't that good.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go to Super Chats. I got them here. Up top, from Katie, she says, "Hi, Brett and Olivia. The Michael Jackson stage musical is in my city this week for 50 shows. I am excited to see it this week.
50?
I will give you my review." 50
crazy.
shows?
That's a lot.
For a week?
Cool.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
All right, Shane H. Wilder says, "Happy Monday, Dasovics. The beans of jelly are out for delivery. Hopefully they weren't poisoned. I mean, I'd still eat them either way."
Well, they're not. Unless we poisoned everyone at our wedding and didn't know that.
Yes, we did.
But everyone's still alive. Well,
yes.
Except for 2 people.
That's sad.
Sorry, I said it and then I was like, oh.
Grandpa and Grandma.
We love you guys.
Not that John Stewart says, but you should see the other guy. Olivia Clare, probably.
Look, yeah, you should see the other guy. No, guys, I tripped and fell on some uneven concrete. You should sue the city. No, there was not a sign that says.
I was
watch out
so
on
worried
uneven
about
concrete.
your knee more than your hand.
I
knew
could
your hand
tell.
was gonna be
I could
busted,
tell
but it looked like
because
I've taken that type of fall on my I couldn't see from the from where I was walking what it was like.
Get a new phone case,
but I've taken falls where I've directly hit my knee, and that part of your body splits open really, really easily.
Yeah, you know what's funny, and I almost said this to you last night, but it's because we had laundry in that I didn't wear my shorts out for the walk because it was so hot out.
Yep.
If I had worn my shorts, my knee would be screwed.
I
wore leggings, and if I hadn't done that, but yeah, it hurt initially, but you need to look at where you're going and stepping. That's the thing is
so
I
dark
was,
out,
but it's so dark that it's hard to, and I got new shoes and they're half a size too big, but I really like them. And that's probably part of it too. But yeah, it hurt. My knee is definitely bruised, but it didn't break open. And I knew it didn't once we got about halfway down the block to the house because I didn't feel my leggings sticking to my leg.
Yeah.
And they would have.
Oh, yeah.
So Yeah, like right, I can't, you guys will see me like going like, ow, 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 because it's still an open wound. Right here on my hand, there's a gash, and it's still leaking something. Don't know what, I'm guessing it's a mixture of like, but I you know what, I'm just happy that I didn't get that hurt, all things considered. And it shows that Brett is a very caring person, you guys. He was very worried about me. He's like making sure I got home okay.
It's like, you need me to carry you?
I
was looking forward to that. Kind of like, you know, the first time you get to kill a bug for your wife or open a jar.
Yeah, it was. And then I also had him kill a bug that night.
That is true. Luffy says the plot, Brett. The Masters of the Universe has the same plot as Shang-Chi. Bro, I completely forgot. Like I said, it was the best of Phase 4, and all I really remember was like the bus fight scene and like the mediocre CGI in that last like kerfuffle when that was going on.
Oh,
so.
Brett almost called an ambulance. No, my hand was kind of bleeding all over the place, but other than that.
But I'm the same way. When I see kids running faster than their legs can take them, I get so anxious for them.
That happened. I won't give to, but we were here the other day and families were hanging out, and of course there are children amongst the people here. And there was one I was walking behind, and I kept instinctively, every time she would kind of run a little bit, I would instinctively, and then she ended up falling back onto my lap at one point because I was sitting on the floor and she was backing up. I didn't know I was right behind her, and she plopped right into my lap. It was very cute.
Shane H. Wilder says Olivia is a member of an underground boxing ring confirmed. It's like Fight Club, but without the lie soap scars.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. It's probably some white blood cells that are leaking out of
She
there.
had a cortisol spike. Shane H. Wilder says, language in some adult material can still be family-oriented. Look at the classics like Goonies, Gremlins, Never-Ending Story, Batteries Not Included.
Yeah, but saying he's going to give someone head,
we didn't even get into
fist people. I mean, again, this is a movie I would suggest watching before you let your kids watch it, I guess is what I'm saying, if you're that parent.
All right. Pop Culture Junkie says this art director just sabotaged her own career. No tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Shane H. Wilder says I'd pay to go to the police academy if Michael Winslow would teach me how to do those vocal sound effects. I've only ever seen the first 2 Police Academy movies, and I don't remember them. I was so young when I think we had the VHSs.
Yeah.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia says, for the cringe, if she's so nervous she needs 15 minutes she needs a 15-minute self-pep talk, why is she broadcasting herself to the world? That would make me more nervous.
Yeah. Well,
because it's fake.
Because it's fake and gay.
None of it's real. Shane H. Wilder says, damn it, Olivia, we need Mary back for cringe. That doesn't make me want to play games in traffic. If I don't comment again, it's because I lost. JK.
Guys, she should be back Wednesday. Yep. That's what it looks like. We appreciate all of you caring about her, but she'll be back.
A lot of cringe in the meantime.
Oh, sure.
There's going to be cringe tomorrow, too.
It's going to be cringe tomorrow. Yeah. Sorry, my hand is like, it hurts so bad. Continue.
This is, I imagine this is how she feels every time I come home with a skating injury.
I mean, look, it hurt, but you know what? I didn't cry. I always kick that. I didn't cry.
Yeah.
Which Brett was like, I'm surprised you didn't cry. But it was like such a shocking.
Yeah.
It was so shocking that I tripped and fell. And I know you're like, it shocked me so bad that I didn't, you know.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder says, that sucks. Go to a house party and get AIDS on the face. Technically nothing wrong with the inverted cross. People think they're being edgy, but it's St. Peter's cross. Peter was crucified upside down. Well, I highly doubt that the person who drew it did so thinking that was what it was. Though props to that person if they did.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Brian Bledsoe. You know the first thing it made me think of, and I forgot to bring it up during the segment, was Taylor Swift in the Taylor Swift Nazi picture from the party.
Oh, yeah.
From like 2009.
Yeah.
Rough times. How do you feel about her wedding having being at Madison Square Garden?
Cool. I don't know. I mean, it's probably good for infrastructure, security,
they
and
were saying
guest
like
count,
you got like underground parking, so I was like laughing at the idea of like making famous people park on the street.
That would actually be hilarious. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really have an opinion on it. I like Taylor Swift, but I don't really like her personal life. Isn't as much of a thing for me. I just like her music.
I feel like She should have done, instead of that, she should have done like, where is she from? Is she from Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
She should have
And then Tennessee, but
re-embraced.
yeah.
She should have re-embraced her roots and gotten married in Pennsylvania. That's what
Yeah.
she should have done. Shane H. Wilder says, oh no, I got that one. Sorry. Brian Bledsoe says, watching that cringe, I said to myself, is she talking to herself?
Yes.
Then I just realized I was talking to myself. Am I reparenting too?
Not reparenting. Reparenting is different and cringy.
Wait, what is reparenting?
What she was doing was like coaching herself in a way, being like, you don't have, like what you would say to a kid, like, it's okay. You wouldn't be, you're going to be fine. Like, some people might have like bad thoughts, but that's, that's okay. Like, just be yourself. That's the idea of it, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Shane H. Wilder says, I was born normal. Nah, dog. You're a sociopath.
Many such cases.
Corey Anderson says, did Masters of the Universe do well enough to get a sequel? That depends on who you ask. If we were basing it on
Amazon.
If you ask Amazon, perhaps. But I don't know. If it was based on the box office alone, no, I don't believe that it did. But I guess they're using different holistic metrics. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I will say that there's a better movie that could be made in the second one if they just kind of shored up that tone a little bit.
Yep.
Not that John Stewart says, probably not currently, unless word of mouth, but it, oh wait, I lost it. Probably not currently, unless word of mouth picks up and it does better next weekend. Like I said, I think it's going off a cliff next weekend.
We have a family friend, at least my dad knows this kid who's worked in a movie theater for like a decade now, and he was like, yeah, that movie's bombing. So even my dad knows the movie is bombing, and my dad doesn't do movies at all.
All right. T-Bone
T-Bone
says, great take on He-Man, bestie.
Thank you, bestie. Yes, hello, T-Bone. Hello, thank you for watching. Appreciate you.
Shane H. Wilder says, I was going to buy a can of Good Nut, but it was busted. I'm sorry. I'll get my coat and see myself out.
You can go now. It's okay.
That's what happens when
We'll
you
see you
buy a
next time,
can
buddy.
of busted nut. Corey Anderson says, anyone remember the busted nut corn nut commercial?
No.
I don't, but I do love unhinged old commercials,
I
so
do too.
checks out. All right, Corey Anderson says, you need to review Police Academy 1 through 5 for the channel, bro. There's no universe in which that happens. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's not going to happen. If we had a system like what the ladies at Force of Light do, where like you can fund reviews or like watch-alongs where they'll like, if you super chat enough, they'll do it. But we don't have such a system in place.
We have crisis parties.
And I don't, like I'm not bought in like the art director. T-Bone says, Taylor Swift is from my city. Is it Reading or Reading? Reading, Pennsylvania. I drive past her house a lot.
That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know you guys were from the same city. That makes you even better, bestie. Like, come on. Yes, T-Bone's one of our Discord, like, OGs. We love T-Bone here. He's also done booty stuff with us. We are big T-Bone fans.
Yep.
Big T-Bone fan here.
All right. Cookie Don on Rumble says, the abortion situation might be a hoax and the YouTube couple might need to be pressed on that. Absolutely.
That's exactly what we said.
Yep. Okay, we had one more here that I was waiting for there. Yep. Birdie Gambit says, I did not see He-Man. I decided to watch Shrek and build my new Lego set. I'll try to see it this week.
I saw that in the Discord, by the way. It's a sweet Lego set. I'm currently working on a micro bricks of the Tower Bridge in London. So it's almost done. And I will put it in, I made a Lego thread on Discord, by the way. And I will put it in there.
So I was right. It's Reading, not Reading?
Yeah, Reading.
Okay. I was just making
sure. He used to live there. That's still pretty cool.
Yeah,
like that.
That's good.
You like T-Bone Steaks? Well, T-Bone himself is also a pretty swell dude, if I do say so myself.
All right.
Good people.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go, would you all please hit the like button on this episode and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. I do want to say that if you enjoyed our our thoughts on He-Man, in Masters of the Universe. We did do a full hour-long spoiler review. We got into a lot of details, and I think that review is actually pretty all-encompassing and was really actually a lot of fun and was really, really good. So you should think about becoming a Pop Culture Crisis channel member on YouTube. You can watch that, as well as all of the live movie reviews. We've done them for Mortal Kombat. Well, I did it for Mortal Kombat. We did it for The Sheep Detectives. We also did it for In the Gray, and I plan to do so the same for Supergirl and a bunch of the other things that are coming out this year. So become a channel member and you can support us that way. We appreciate it so much. So where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me personally on X or Instagram at Olivia Dasovic on both of those platforms. I say it just like you now. But you guys also should go to timcast.com, join us at the top right corner, become a member. If you're already a member, go to timcast.com/Discord, join our Discord community. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of events. And tomorrow, I can announce this now. Why did I clap? That hurt. Okay, tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are doing a PCC backstage live where we're going to have a camera set up while we get ready to do the show the last 30 minutes, talking about some topics, talking about getting the stream ready, getting everything finalized. And then about 2:55, we will end that and we will go live here. That is, again, tomorrow, Discord members only on the Discord community stage. I will be in the chat. We will be reading your chats out loud, responding to you guys, going through the
How am I supposed to get
mailbag.
the show ready when we're doing all this stuff?
Usually by 2:30, we're good to go. So be there or be square. I hope you guys are there because I don't want squares in the chat. Who wants that? So again, timcast.com/Discord if you have not onboarded already. If you are onboarded, Timcast Discord community stage is where we will be. Go to the events calendar, hit interested so you are notified when we go live tomorrow.
I feel like if I asked Tim, he would be able to give me a detailed history of what be there or be square means.
Let's not do that. We don't have time.
Well, I'm going to be on IRL tonight, so...
Oh, you could. Maybe I'll call in and ask.
Maybe I'll ask him, like, so, like, what does it mean when you ask be there or be square? Anyways, guys, that is true. I will be sharing my inane and pointless thoughts on Timcast IRL tonight, so you should tune in there and watch me derail and take the discussion every which way other than the topic, as I've been known to do. If you would like to follow me, I will be on Instagram and on X. I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen around this watch, I was like reading the chat and then doing that. You can also rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify, which is a great way to help our channel out. Thank you guys so much for that. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.